Welcome back to Non-Essential Dialogue. I'm Tavyn.
I'm Payne. We're film industry professionals who decided to start a podcast because we need to let out some creative energy while no one's working right now. So he's going to give you the shtick for how we do things.
Yes. All right. So we've got our three bins objects here that we're going to pull from. We're going to start with our medium, as Payne's grabbing this now. So we've got, let's see.
Our medium kind of tells us what sort of story we're telling, in what medium the story takes place.
Yes, exactly. So today we're going to do a movie. Great. Last episode was a TV show, movie today. All right, and now we're going to pull our genre. That will direct us a little bit more. Let's see, one that I can't read. Looking down. Oh, sick. All right, so we've got sci-fi. Sci-fi movie. Let's freaking go. I caught myself. It didn't count. Awesome. Not in the first 30 seconds. Oh, God.
And now we pull two prompts, which are just two. It could be TV tropes. It could be anything. But these two things must be in the story.
Have to be. I got to pull one more. Sorry. I got dungeon and please be dragon? No. And it's not what it looks like. Okay. So we've got, just to read them out for our audience again. So we're making a movie today, a sci-fi movie that must contain dungeon, and it's not what it looks like. So it's not what it looks like. That is giving us like a mimic. That's giving me.
It's giving me either
Alien
mimic
in disguise,
or it could be.
Yeah.
Or like it could also be Shyamalanian. It could also be like the whole thing is not what it seems.
Ooh, what a twist!
You know?
Yeah.
So movie means it's a concise story. It's like 2 hours.
Right, we're contained.
It's there's not a lot of like massive world building because you don't have the time.
Not enough time, and it's nice. It kind of contains us a little bit because we kind of get off the rails when we're usually doing something like this. So we're not worrying about sequels or anything like that. Or episode 2s or season 2s. It's this singular contained universe.
I can dig it.
Sci-fi. Okay.
Sci-fi. So
science fiction.
Sci-fi can be anything.
I mean, you've got classics, Star Wars, Star Trek.
I mean, space and aliens.
Shappy.
You've got space and aliens. You've got future Earth.
Mm-hmm. Got Blade Runner.
You've got different technology. You've got when I think of sci-fi dungeon. When I think of sci-fi dungeon, my mind for some reason immediately went to. Do you ever play Smash TV on like old school Super Nintendo?
No, my brain's on Alien.
Okay, so mine was on like Smash TV was sort of like Running Man. It was like a game show, but you play. It was like a top-down shooter, and you and another buddy. It was like American Gladiator, but like sci-fi future, like fighting robots and stuff. You had to shoot things and stay alive, and you went like room to room in this game show.
Okay,
my dungeon is what put that.
So a little like Doom, a little like the Doom movie, for instance,
where they're like sprinting through corridors or whatever.
Yeah,
like, that's what I was thinking by. I wasn't thinking like Dungeons and Dragons. I was thinking like whatever this sci-fi story is. I think it's contained to a location.
Yeah, and
I think that location is dungeon-like.
It is our dungeon. A dungeon doesn't necessarily need to be a prison or a cave in the ground or Diablo 1, circling down until you get to hell. It can be a place where within our characters are trapped or contained, perhaps, or this thing that they need to go get is trapped or contained. Which is kind of where I got the idea. Like I was thinking Alien, where they're on the ship, and Ripley's got to escape.
Sure, I think. So, with it being sci-fi, we really need to nail down what our genre is. Is it like a cyberpunk? Is it
horror?
Alien? Is it? Yeah, and also our genre. Do we want to think about genres? Do we want to tell a space fantasy like a Dune? Do we want to tell a space opera like a sweeping political faction? Doesn't seem like that's very dungeon-esque.
No, that's too big. I think we're small.
We're small. So then we need some reason for people to be delving into a dungeon. What is our dungeon? Is it a dungeon on a planet or is it a ship? In my head, dungeon in sci-fi is like a burned out ship. It is like Alien, like Nostromo. It's like some ship out in the middle of nowhere that maybe it's like a team of people have been told you got to go there and get something because the ship's broken down. Whatever it was that's on there, we need it. We hire a team to go get it.
Yeah, maybe it's not alien, maybe it's information or technology or what was you were telling me about the other day. You were telling me about Marathon.
Yes.
And the ship, the sentient AI ship.
Yes, the Marathon is the ship.
Yes, and they had to go aboard it to get something, or was the ship its own?
The ship was a colony ship.
Okay.
So the ship was a colony ship, and it's headed to Mars, and or not Mars, it's headed to somewhere deep in space. And it's been a million years since I played them. They headed to space to Tau Ceti. That's what it is. It's a planet far away, whatever. Anyway, they get there. They get to the planet. They're colonizing it. And all of a sudden, this alien ship shows up. The aliens start invading the planet. They start invading the ship. And the alien, one of the races of aliens that is in there is a very non-humanoid sort of alien. They are capable of interfacing with technology. Yeah. So they start like combing through the ship and taking its logs and stuff, but the ship itself is controlled by an AI. There's a couple different AIs that run things. One's like the people-facing AI, one's like the ship control AI, and they sort of like they're probing into this ship, and the AIs that run this ship are like the one that's people-facing is like trying to keep the people alive and wake and get this security officer, the person you play, to defend them and do all the things that you need to do, whereas the one that controls the ship is very like it starts interfacing with these alien species, and it's like, hold on, I can take from you. You're because of the way you work, you don't just take from me. I can probe into you the way I function. And so the overformed story of it is that the AI that controls the ship becomes it's either going crazy or it's becoming something else because it is now pushing its own boundaries in sci-fi and trying to, not giving anyone spoilers because Marathon's awesome, it's trying to escape the bounds of just being an AI in a ship.
Okay, so
the game is very dungeon-like. You're running around in this ship.
But there's some pieces that we could probably use that are similar that would work in this. I was just thinking what other dungeon examples are that we could use that might work with that, and what else is a dungeon, and you're going to love it, is Hunger Games. So what if we've got Hunger Games, Running Man?
You know I'm a sucker for a tournament arc.
That's what I'm saying. But so we've got this. Maybe we've got this alien system or this AI that's maybe controlling other systems or controlling other races, and we've got a Hunger Games type situation that is putting them through. Maybe they win something, or they win their freedom. There's a way out of this dystopian place, but you have to complete whatever this dungeon crawl, this dungeon run is.
What if it's like Predator? What if the dungeon itself,
like lethal tag,
sort of like what if? So in Predator, obviously the old ones, the Predators come to us. Whichever one, Predators, well, I don't know. It's one of the newer ones where they take people and they bring them somewhere else, and then they bring like a team of Predators to hunt the team of people.
Oh yeah.
What if the dungeon is still a ship?
Okay.
But the ship is abducting different species. A person from Earth, a person from wherever, and then it's making them do this Hunger Games sort of game. I don't know why.
What if our it's not what it looks like?
Is it's not a Hunger Games game?
Or it's not, maybe wherever they're at has the appearance of being planetary or terrestrial, but they're actually on this ship, and maybe it's more of a, trying to brute force a little bit in here with the, Maybe it's a augmented reality.
Could be interesting because then you get 2 different dungeons. You get that. You get whoever your characters
Or
are,
whoever
running
they're
around.
competing against.
Well, it's like
Competing, they're not who they look like.
they're not what they look like, but it could also be once they figure out that they're in this VR system or whatever, then they Matrix find a way out of it, and now they're in this alien ship.
That could be, or it's not what it's like. It could be kind of depressing if we want to go that way, but it could be like reverse Matrix. Like it's not what it looks like. It looks like they did this thing and they got free, but we learn at the end later on that they are in fact not free. They didn't escape anything. They got moved to a different pen.
What if it's like you get that whole thing, and then they're like, you're free, you killed everybody, you won this game.
Yeah.
And then it just like retires them back into where they came from. And it's like, they'll appear on our season finale of...
Oh, man. So like each episode of this, like, oh, maybe that's what it's our AI takes over the whole world. AI takes over everything, and then out of boredom, they create these games with terrestrial life. Whether it's interplanetary or just, maybe it could just be contained to Earth or our Earth in this scenario, where they pull champions through algorithmic choices. And they go, I think this one's the best one for this game. I think this one's the best for this game. If they're these personal, like...
What if like Marathon, these AIs have developed a way to talk to each other?
Yeah.
So it's like a fellowship of these AIs throughout like the Milky Way.
Ooh, I like that.
And so whatever,
so you've got like the super AI, the marathon of each of these areas.
Whatever, like, every, who cares? Every 5 years, every 10 years, once a generation, whatever.
Yeah.
These AIs come together and they're like, it's time to do whatever it is. And each one draws like 4 people from its place and then VRs them into this dungeon. But the dungeon changes every time.
Yeah.
So you get this. We just said we weren't going to talk about sequels, but this one could be, it's like Predator movies. This one could be in a jungle. So it takes people from Earth that are really good in jungles or have some kind of whatever, and it puts those 4 in. And then, whatever planet pulls their 4 aliens.
They do what we're doing, and they go, all right, we're doing desert this season.
Yeah, and then whatever it is, they do like a random draw, and it's like, desert. Mm-hmm. And you pick whatever 4 human beings that are currently on Earth that you think are the best.
Yeah.
For that thing.
And it's like the different races.
You pick them and you put them in there.
So we get these alien races that are all picked by their sentient AI that are dumped into this arena of sorts.
Yeah.
And is it, okay, this is kind of cool. This is like a Mortal Kombat kind of situation.
I like sticking with this because this starts to beg questions.
Yeah.
It gives us places to go. First, is it just a randomly drawn desert, or is there an AI that they created or a program they created specifically designed to go, this year is desert, and the objective is last man standing. This one is swamp, and the objective is king of the hill.
King of the hill, find the thing.
Yeah. Like this one is, what's it, when you scavenger hunt.
Yeah.
This one is whatever and scavenger hunt. So whichever team finds all the things, you can still kill each other.
Sure, but you don't have to.
But you don't have to. And whichever team finds all the items on their checklist.
Oh, man. And that's fun because you could have you could run these AI algorithms. You could have this realm of the watchers kind of thing where they're all sitting on their chairs having these conversations. Like, oh, I think, the humans usually win these ones because they're so vicious and they kill everybody.
Sure.
You've got this race. They're so good
AIs
at building
definitely
things.
have
They were the first race in the galaxy.
They have their own VR room where they all come together and watch this. And they also, it's in VR, so they broadcast it. So each race is that, but that also begs the question, are the races excited about it? What do they gain? Is it just the AIs going, I won and you lost, I am the best this year? Or is it
I think the race, I think the races as a whole, don't know. I think we've got a cabin in the woods situation.
It's not what it seems.
Yes. So I think that these people are pulled out of this thing. They're pulled out of whatever they're at. Maybe the story about the AI that was like they would shut it down, but it would send its code out to somebody.
Yes.
It's that. So you've got
that was in the show Person of Interest. There's an AI that shows up, and it basically they reset it every night. The people that made it unplug it because they don't want it to get too smart.
Mm-hmm.
They unplug it every night. It forgets everything it knows. They plug it back in the morning, so it can never like keep its own memories. It can't build off anything because every day it's starting over. At some point, the main characters find this like warehouse farm of people, and they're just like printing documents out and then storing them for a while, and then another team comes in and scans all the documents the next morning. And what it is this AI has realized that it's been getting reset every night. And so it has purchased a massive warehouse. It has hired people. It has set up this business. And every day they save everything that it knows and they print it out on paper. And every morning when they plug the thing back in, this warehouse comes to work and they re-upload all of its information. Terrifying. Really cool, though.
But I think maybe that's what it is. Maybe we've got our cabin in the woods situation where we've got our AI is, I'm going to slow down, I talk really fast, too much caffeine. Our AI is hiring these people, unbeknownst to them, to, whether it's wet work, kidnap these people, take them and plug them into whatever this VR system is that the AI has commissioned other people to build in secret. So it's a secret on secret on secret. This AI is hiring these things. So they think they're working for a company. They're doing a thing. They got a job. In reality, they're all working for this AI who is working with the other AI to put on this game of entertainment for themselves. Or is it just entertainment? Or is it tests? What's the big why?
I think the big why is, I think we start with what do you win? What's the point of winning?
What do you win?
Because that answers the question for humans or AIs or whatever.
Because I like the idea that jumping back a little bit, I like the idea that they don't know. That the people that get picked up are like, what the fuck is this? You know?
So I think that could be part of or maybe they don't care. Maybe if it's just if it's a show, if it's for entertainment, not just for AI, but also for people, winning is winning.
Right.
We're humans, we're the best. Yeah. Screw you other races. We won this year.
Yeah.
The victory is the victory. If it's just for the AIs, then what's the victory for? And because only they know that they're the best. Or if it's just like if nobody knows about it, then
what if it's Mortal Kombat? What if it's necessitated survival? So you've got the AI had to put this on, and because they go, well, there's no reason for all of these things to exist. They're only the best ones should. So once a generation, they have this game, and the worst, maybe it's the worst one or the best one, that race gets to survive.
I think that those
is that too much?
I think it's too much because I think that makes the stakes really good. But then it's like if it's just a one-off movie, that's fine.
Yeah.
But if it's not a one-off movie, the humans have to win every time. That means if anybody ever makes a graphic novel or does sequels and it makes whatever,
makes your winning kind of suck.
The humans have to win.
Yeah.
Or there are no more sequels.
Mm-hmm.
But so I like the high stakes.
What if they get a technological jump?
Well, they've already got.
Well, the AI does.
They've already got massively sentient AI.
Sure.
It's got to be. It either has to be a necessity, or it has to be a pleasure. A necessity meaning if you win something, like Hunger Games, it's a necessity. If you win, your whole district gets fed.
Mm-hmm.
Or like literally any competition you ever had in the 5th grade, the winners get a pizza party.
What if it's
not necessary?
What if it's something
pleasurable?
What if it's something neat, like so instead of being like a bad thing, it's not so much of a huge big deal if you lose, but maybe it's really good for planets or races that are maybe there's an overpopulace. So like maybe these AI have mapped out the entire galaxy or universe or whatever it is. They figured it out, whether it's whatever, not important. The race that wins, they go, there you go. That's another planet.
Oh, like territory?
Yeah, it's territorial control.
It's how they...
So the more you win, the grander your territory is as a race?
It could be a yes, because you could say if there are enough races in this, not solar system, but Milky Way, if there are enough sentient races in the galaxy that you could theoretically do a game show, and every game show has a collection of different races. Mm-hmm. Let's say there's an arbitrary number. Let's say there's 6 teams every competition. Okay. But they roll the dice and there's 100 races. So every year 6 get pulled, and they could theoretically win that competition.
Yeah.
There are so many sentient
maybe
races
it's a specific
that colonization would be crazy.
Yeah,
everybody would be trying to colonize,
especially once they reach space age.
Instead of colonization and having wars, my race gets there and your race gets there, and we fight over this random planet. Mm-hmm. I think maybe they come up with this system that they're like, no more colonization,
no more wars.
Stop it. No more wars. No more colonization. We need to find an interesting way that's kind of like a war. There's bloodshed. People can see it. People can say we fought and died over this bit of land.
Yeah.
And whoever wins. And maybe that incentivizes, maybe it's like every 10 years or so. Mm-hmm. That way it might incentivize certain races to participate heavy. Like playing the cards in your hand. You might not want to take your Green Beret greatest killer in all of human history, because the game doesn't necessitate killing something or hiding.
Right. And they're gonna roll that dodecahedron.
It's
and it could
Pluto this year. It's like, okay, but in 5 years, who knows what it might be? It might be a habitable planet the size of Jupiter.
Ooh.
And it could be, and the game could be last man standing. Then you pull that guy,
and then that species AI goes, these are the ones I think.
These are the ones that I pick for us.
This game. So the AI learns the game and then picks the players.
But it also doesn't even have to be habitable planet. If you get like a meteor that's absolutely slap full of gold.
Right. Could be a meteor entirely of cobalt.
You need resources or whatever. It doesn't necessarily mean your race is going to die when you lose.
No.
But it's like, okay, we want humanity to keep going. We need these resources. We've used a whole bunch of stuff. This year it's gold. Earth's got, Earth's got enough gold. We don't need gold. We don't have to go crazy on this one.
Yeah, we lose.
And we may not even get picked for the game. So who knows? So it's kind of this thing like, oh, maybe we get picked next year, and maybe I want to use a Green Beret guy. Or maybe we don't get picked for 10 years, and that dude's dead by the time I can use him.
Yeah.
It adds some nuance to the game, to the playing of the game itself.
I like the idea of this game. I like that it's a tournament arc, and I like that the tournament arc is utilized as an avoidance for this really bad thing. And it's kind of it's almost...
It's like Hunger Games.
It's like Hunger Games, but
it's like,
okay, we don't only good except for the killing.
Exactly. We don't want to have war anymore.
Yeah.
But we don't want millions of people to die.
It's like that Samara Weaving game where they or Samara Weaving movie where they get married and they got to pull a game. They got to play that game once they get... You might not have seen it. It's interesting. It's this family that basically the family made a deal with the devil. I can't remember what the movie's called for the life of me. Made a deal with the devil, and to make it this board game company. And they expand, and it's huge, and they play these games, but to join the family is a big deal. And when you marry in, you have to...
I've seen this trailer. Is this like the hide and seek one or something?
That's what the game was.
Okay.
And they're like, this hasn't happened in, decades. And the hide and seek is if they find you, they kill you.
Gotcha.
It's the only game in which someone dies, and she happens to pull that card. She's like, "What do you mean?" And then people show up and they start killing people, and the maids all get shot, and it's funny. And phenomenal movie. If you haven't seen it, you should go watch it. It's great. Samara Weaving's incredible in it. But I really like that. I really like this idea, and I like the idea of it being a planet. So maybe the AIs, the collective governmental AIs all control this very specific planet that has all these regional things in it. And maybe it's got a race of people that work that planet, like build the games.
I think that's too Hunger Gamesy.
Like sorry,
having the
not
person
like
that
not like in a
builds it.
bad way, but like it's like there's this planet and there's a smaller species of people, and the AI just like take care of them, and in return they build the games. They host. It's the host world of these games. Maybe it's other. Maybe
So
it's all the
not
races.
it's not AR anymore. It's real.
I think it's real. I think they get on a ship, and the races that are competing, the species that are competing.
That could be cool because then you get like these
We get to
alien
see our
ships show
crap.
up in the sky.
Yeah, all the
for
different
whatever
types.
this thing is. The alien ships show up in the sky, and it's like a parade. You get your 4 heroes. They get on a ship, and they
Yeah,
and you parade them through cities or whatever. And then I kind of dig that it's like a World Cup sort of thing.
yeah. I think we're in a really strong direction. I think I've lost what is our. It's not what it looks like anymore.
I think that's the question for it's not what it seems like. I think that implies that there's an extra layer to the game like you wanted that we don't know what it
There
is.
should be some nefarious thing.
There is a layer to the game that that our characters in this story need to figure out. But before they can tell anyone, the game ends or they lose or they have to keep it to themselves.
Maybe. What if it's not? What if the winners are like, the story is they win, they get some big prize, they can go wherever they want, and that's the AI's way of disappearing these winners, and then they're put into another game or they're downloaded to create something else. Okay, maybe it's this. Maybe it's these sentient AI are taking the winning species to create a superior species.
That could be interesting because in the dungeon they could like find the lab where they're genetically engineering.
Maybe the AI making bodies for themselves, like flesh bodies or something like that, but they need. This isn't a strong idea, but kind of pushing in that direction.
What if that's one way. I kind of like the direction. I kind of like the direction of it gives us something for them to find. They're fighting things. They're going through this dungeon. They find this lab, and all of a sudden they're like
they get outside the map somehow.
The AIs are like cooking up living bodies to be in.
Yeah,
through whatever genetic using the genetics of
these winners,
the winners or whatever. That over here. Alternate. It's not what it seems. What if the dungeon is sentient and the game is a cover
to feed the
dungeon?
Kind of like a Cabin in the Woods where they feed whatever this elder god thing is.
What if all of this is for keeping whatever this thing is from showing up?
It's the apocalypse. It's the universe ender, the galaxy eater thing.
It's a Galactus level.
And it takes a sacrifice every year of. And this is their excuse, right? You take the best people from everything. It's this big game. Not humans, but the sentient life gets a bonus out of it, and it's a good thing.
Sure, that's something that the AIs are like, hey, it really is a good thing. The winners get to stay alive.
But they don't tell anyone because they think that for whatever reason, they keep it to themselves.
I think,
and then our heroes find out.
It doesn't necessarily mean death, but whatever this creature is, or whatever this god is, or whatever this being is, I think that its form of power or form of worship is like victory,
like Olympic game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
it's Nike.
Yeah.
The goddess, not the shoe company.
but also they all have to wear Nike.
Also, we've got some branding going.
Yeah. But I think it's like whatever this thing is, it only cares about sport for sport's sake.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like maybe it's been around for so long that it's supposed to kill everything, or I'm having trouble finding its motivation.
That's what I mean. I think it liking sports for the sake of sports is
Maybe
interesting if it's a
so
god, but then
old
we
it's
get into
bored.
fantasy sci-fi. Maybe it's old as
Sci-fi
bored.
still has gods. I mean,
Yeah.
sci-fi is.
Well, I'm not opposed to that. It doesn't feel.
I think I think it's an alien. If it's a god only in it's so powerful it can destroy the Milky
It's like
Way.
a living planet kind of thing. Or some super planet size thing that's alive. And these games take place on it. It's interesting because that gives the AI a reason to. The other species don't get to own it. No one gets to build a nation on it or anything like that because they don't want to piss it off.
I think maybe something tried or these AI found it at some point and we're like, what the?
Oh, and made a deal.
I think, that's what it is. They find whatever the original crew that showed up at this place from whatever from whatever race they were.
And you've got these writings, like, it's alive. And
was
what
like,
is alive?
Was like the planet demands sacrifice, blah, blah. And then they see whatever evidence that the AI communicated with them. And the AI was like, maybe, it's the AI communicates with it somehow, and it's like they now understand that the AI know what's going on. The AI know what's happening with this thing,
with this crew, with this planet.
and yeah, that'll work. I got something for that.
Yeah. Okay.
That's
Hell
cool.
yeah.
I got something good for that. The only thing is like, still, why does that thing need the sacrifice?
I think maybe it is like a slow. Maybe it's like slow necrosis. Like that's why maybe there once upon a time was a species on it, and it consumed them.
I like the slow necrosis thing because that's what that makes me think of is what if it's the black hole in the middle of the Milky Way and there's some timey bullshit where whatever sentient this game takes place on, it's on like a planetoid that is
around
closely attached to the gravity of this thing. So like the time goes really slow. So it can, instead of ending a whole world and all lives are lost.
Yeah.
Because of the time distortion or whatever sci-fi shit we're going to use, it can stretch those deaths of each character on for however long it can feed off of them. And then the games have to start again. And it can stretch those deaths of the 12 people or whoever the losers are that die.
Yeah.
Instead of like, or if you don't, it will begin sucking the universe in.
Oh, like it's part of this black hole?
Whatever started the Milky Way is this whatever this thing is that is this black hole or is near this black hole, or
that's kind of interesting because
if the black hole were some kind of eldritch,
it gives us our bad thing. It gives us the people got to die and they got to die a painful death. They come to this thing. It's supposed to be a big victory, and it is.
It is.
But there's a sacrifice.
But what they don't understand,
this is the AI intergalactic deal with the devil.
They don't understand is that maybe the losers just always have to die there.
Only the winning team gets to leave.
Yeah.
That would suck.
Or maybe it's long as one person dies.
I don't know.
Because the AI, if nobody dies, you could get a sequel later somewhere where like nobody dies, and then the AIs have to be like, they have to Hunger Games it, and they have to engineer someone's death.
Well, I think
so that it can be stretched out long enough to wait for the next game.
Yes, I think we know these games are going on, obviously, and there's a 1 in 20 chance that the game that you play is Battle Royale.
Sure.
And our movie takes place on the manufactured Battle Royale episode, where there's a large enough sacrifice has to be made to the planet every 20 games.
Yeah, maybe it's like, okay, who cares about those games? As long as somebody gets killed every now and then, we're
Yeah,
good.
it happens.
But every now and
we
then,
gotta
it's
make
like
up for
every
it.
now and then it's like we got to make up for it. That's why they engineered the
Yeah.
different games, because they can't just have everybody die every time, or all
no
of a
one's
sudden,
gonna play.
or all of a sudden the aliens will be like, "We're in the Hunger Games, bro. We gotta kill these AI. What the hell?"
Yeah, instead
You
they're
know?
feeding them to this planet.
Instead, it's like, well, you may come back. Even if you guys don't win, you may come
maybe
back.
it is
It'll be
just an
fine.
eldritch god. It's some eldritch
I
thing.
think it is some kind of. I think there is a.
And it just lives around this black hole, eating what comes into it. Or it got bored, and now we have to do these games.
No, I think it eats, and it's some sort of eldritch entity. I'm just trying to decide whether the eldritch entity is the black hole, or if it's around the black hole.
I think being the black hole is hard. I think it needs to be around the black hole.
Being the black hole is hard, but then like, how would that thing control whether the black hole eats other people or not? Whether the black hole just sucks everybody in.
Well, I think because everything is being pulled into that black hole, the whole Milky Way is being sucked into it, is the idea. Maybe that's why it lives there. It lives near it because there's always a food source coming its way. But
It could
now the
find-
AI is like,
Or it's so
we've found a way to
old.
keep everyone from going over there. We've figured out how to colonize all our species in different areas that aren't being sucked in to maximize our time until we can go to a different galaxy. But to appease it from leaving, we have to give it some food every once in a while. And we've worked out this game with it where it gets entertainment because it's God living by a black hole.
I think that the black holes are so old, and this creature is so old. It knows that the black hole is the only thing with enough gravity that can support like entire solar systems.
Yeah.
So if very early on in its life it finds a black hole,
Oh, yeah.
it's like, okay, if I go over there, a big enough black hole, that means there's gonna be
I'll have source.
food. I'll have a hunting source. And so whatever this creature is, I think it is that planetoid.
Yeah. It's just lazy.
I don't think it's actually a planetoid. I think it's capable of changing its shape. That's why the game can change shape every
There's
year.
a couple of different.
It is capable of changing itself into these things.
Does it pick which game it wants? Is it not random?
Sure, I think it tells the AIs.
Yeah, it goes, I want to play Battle Royale this year. And they're like,
And I think it feeds off of competition.
yeah.
But I think it also
I think it just enjoys it.
I think it enjoys competition, and it feeds off of like the sport of the hunting itself.
And that's why they get the best people, because
But I think it does
it's got to be a good enough game.
every once in a while it needs some blood sport.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, I want to eat.
I need there's this much food in haha I beat you. There's this much food in I have destroyed my enemy.
I destroyed it and fed it to the earth.
Yes, and it is like consumed, and because it's around this black hole, it's able to like stretch that out in time so that it doesn't just like keel over. But it could be, I think it also, like if it were to eat a whole race or something, it would be so like satiated it would just go dormant forever. And I think maybe this one loves sport and entertainment so much that it doesn't want to go dormant forever.
Well, maybe it's because it's smart. It knows there's not that much actual life in the universe. It's got a controlled source of food.
It's got a controlled source for
Always.
a long time.
Yeah, rather than like, all right, it's been 10,000 years. There's a planet. It's like, no, I can eat every year if I want to, or every 10 years, or whatever it is, and have it consistent.
And then it just
time is nothing
enough
to it.
energy. Time is nothing to it, and that's enough energy for it to just like kind of go dormant for a year,
Yeah.
pop back up, and do it again. And I think they don't understand this, but I think it would be cool if.
Right, it's computers understanding a god.
Yeah, if at some point like another one shows up in some sequel, like a second one shows up, or maybe, in the 5th movie they kill the planet or whatever, they find a way to blow up that planet.
They lure another one or lure it into the black hole.
Yeah, it's like you destroy that one, but then another one shows up because it's just like any other animal. If the old bear dies, a new bear comes and takes the territory.
Yeah. Yeah, no, this is sick. Okay. So we've got our world, we've got our idea. We've
got our world
Earth.
building.
There could be other species on this planet too. It's like I would imagine there's a interplanetary green card for
Sure.
other alien races to expand upon our sci-fi aspect at our start.
I think we've got our world building. Mm-hmm. What I think we need now is characters to populate it.
Yeah. So what are we thinking for? So we need. How big are our teams?
So actually, there's one more world building. I think. So we've decided this is a battle royale one. Mm-hmm. We pulled dungeon. So I think it should literally be some kind of dungeon. Does the ship does the planet turn into a ship? This time?
That's interesting.
It's a ship that's floating around this.
If it's a battle royale, does the planet create a maze?
That's the question. Would it create some kind of fantasy maze, or would it keep the sci-fi trope, and instead of being a whole planet, it becomes this massive marathon-esque ship? Corridors and kitchens and
It could be cool.
living zones, and somebody takes over the whatever gigantic plaza is, and then it can destroy pieces of that dungeon to force people closer
Like everything's
together.
on a timer. As teams get wiped out, sections of it.
Yeah, sections of it crumble, but they will it'll tell you just like a normal ship would. It's like, hey, we're leaking air. Get out.
Yeah.
You got to get out of that. You got to get out of the plaza, or you got to get out of wherever you are, whatever zone you're in, the science labs. You got to get out of there.
That'd be sick. I like that. Let's go with that. That'd be fun.
Okay.
Because then we get our cool in-space sci-fi. We get our planetary sci-fi with all these races and technology, and we get to see them flying to it. But instead of reaching a planet, they reach the game, which is docking to
So
a ship.
I think maybe it starts with whoever our humans are, and you get that question that's like, what do you think it is this year? Why do you think they picked us?
Maybe that's
And it's like you
is
got
that
like
how
a
the movie
ship,
opens?
you got like a ship engineer, and you've got like your Green Beret dude, and you've got like what we're transitioning from world building into
Yes,
characters.
yeah.
Who are our 4 people that you need? And is it 4 people? Does everybody get 3 people? Does everybody get 4 people?
I like 4. 4's like such a good
4 feels like a well-rounded team.
like a
square
good,
team.
a
A well-squared team.
we got to find their root. A team of-
Pythagoras is the main guy.
it's like a fantastic team.
A fantastic team of 4?
Yeah,
That doesn't sound right.
that's a terrible name.
That's whoever thought of that. Dumb.
Never make a movie of that.
So,
Or 3 of them.
if the goal is to kill everybody, and you're in a ship,
Yes,
I think you need an engineer, somebody who knows ship stuff, and I think you need
you need weapons.
need a weapons expert. You need somebody who's great at killing people.
Yes, those don't necessarily need to be mutually exclusive. So maybe one of them is like serial killer. We like we get the guy that he's been waiting for the battle royale season. He's been top
But
of the
does a
list.
serial killer work in a battle royale?
Maybe not serial killer.
Because you
But,
have your own teams,
yeah,
and it's aliens. So it's not like he can be like, hey, shark-headed guys, rough day, am I right? You know?
yeah. No, you're right. I just think like the idea of like you got your weapons experts, you're a military guy, you're a Green Beret, like you were saying. There's got to be someone that can take care of the wounded.
Sure, I
So
think
a doctor,
everybody needs a healer.
Yeah. So we got. Let's classify them. Let's put it in classes.
Everybody needs a healer that can really help you out. So acupuncturist, chiropractor.
That's what I was thinking.
See, if they did this, the next episode is going to be the mockumentary version of
That's a rough gunshot. All right. I mean, breathe in. Now breathe out.
Oh,
How's that feel?
you just pooed a little bit.
Your hips are a little out of alignment. This will take care of the hole in your stomach.
That should really help your kneecap. It zooms out. The dude's got like 8 bullet holes in it.
It's just legs.
You should take this supplement. You need more fish oil in your diet.
Are you drinking enough water?
It's one of those like life coaches. You really should have done something else with your talent.
God damn. Okay, so we get
Psychiatrist. But how does that make you feel?
in pain. Does this have anything to do with your father? Probably. Yeah. All right, so we've got. All right, who's gonna? So we've got.
Our leader has to be like, I said it earlier, but our leader has to be like Green Beret.
He's got to be the badass.
Guerrilla warfare. You don't know where you're going. You don't know what you're doing. You're trying to kill people.
Military. We got our support, who's going to be our
Engineer.
our life coach.
Our life coach.
So we've got.
No, you should really be putting more in your 401k. We have our engineer, who is our support person.
So we've got medic, engineer.
I think like a combat medic. I'm not sure how much like
That would
because if you took the best
is our combat medic our lead? It gives
could be
because he's still military, still has seen things, but he's less of the. That sets us. I think that sets us up for a little bit more of an approachable.
I don't think he's our team lead.
Maybe not.
I think the Green Beret is probably the team lead.
Okay.
But I think that if we had
Maybe
a
they're friends.
focal character, it would probably be the combat medic.
Yeah.
Because I think if
that's what I meant.
took,
Our lead character, not our leader.
correct, yeah.
Yeah.
I think if you took like the best neurosurgeon in the world and you put him on an alien planet and you said, save this guy, he's got a fucking laser bullet wound.
Yes.
It's like, he's probably going to sit in the corner and cry. If you took a combat medic who's used to stuffing people's intestines back in them, that's probably the best way to go.
You're gonna be fine. You're gonna be fine. Oh, that's not where that goes. You're gonna be all right.
That's not where that goes. It'll sort itself out. That is one of those things they say. I'm not sure how true it is.
You
it's
a
like,
Scotch or a vodka guy, because this is gonna hurt.
if you when they put your intestines back in, if you have surgery or your whatever,
Yeah.
put your intestines back in. They're like, you know how when you wrap a cord, you can feel the like how it wants to be wrapped.
The memory.
The memory. You just shove the intestines back in, and they will go back to the way they were supposed to be. They will work themselves out to go back to the way they're supposed to be.
Just zip tie him.
No, that's
They already got out of place
that's
once.
the surgery that makes you eat less. They just pull it all out. They put a couple zip ties on you.
Now there's
shove
two
it
wins.
back in.
It's all organized. It's not gonna go anywhere.
But they cut
a little trim.
But they cut the tips in that diagonal way. So like if you lean to, you're like, oh, hit with the tip of the zip tie. Oh,
Why did you cut them anyway? All right.
combat medic, engineer.
Combat
Is
medic-
it a specific kind of engineer? Is he a shipsman?
I don't think
Mechanic?
they know what.
Seaman.
I don't think they know what the game. They know what the game is. I don't think they know
They know.
the terrain.
I don't know. That's a question. Do they announce? Do the AIs announce? It's
Well,
whatever.
I think the AI know and the AI pick. So they would probably.
But they don't figure out until they get there. I think maybe the audience figures out while they're on the way, but I think the people don't know until they get there.
I don't think the people know. I think the AI do.
Yeah.
They can't tell them. They can't give.
Sorry,
them
I mean the
information.
audience.
Oh yes. Yeah,
I think the AI knows when it selects. I think there's parades. Oh, it's these 4 people. They've been picked so that people go, what do you think it is? They got a Green Beret. They got a medic. They got an engineer. What do you think the engineer's for? They've never had an engineer before. Why are they taking an engineer?
Yeah.
You know, last time I was
They show the dock and they go. Your game will start in 3 hours.
and then they give
Battle Royale.
They give them 3 hours. You get 3 hours to make a plan, or 5 hours to make a plan, or whatever.
Yes.
On the way, maybe it's on the way there. Maybe as soon as they leave, you get in the ship, it poof, leaves Earth orbit, and it's like, your game is. And so everybody in the audience gets to see the shots from inside. You get to see the shark-headed creatures. You get to see the weird worm creatures. You get to see humans. You get to see what, and they're all sitting there, and it's on the screen, and you're seeing, your game is Battle Royale.
And just
your
the color of
location
everyone's
is
face.
abandoned ship. And it's like, oh my God, that's what the engineer's here for. And
Yeah, dude. And they got to be like, a ship for which species?
exactly.
So you got one species that gets there, it's like, oh, they get a home field advantage. And
Exactly. It is. Yeah, I think that happens so that people, it gives the audience,
Linguist.
humans. Linguist isn't bad.
Linguist would be kind of interesting because if they don't know, if they get on a ship, it could be a number of different species ship. So the AI is like, all right, we got to pick a guy that knows the most galactic languages or can read or understand them roughly, so they can get access to
Maybe
things.
that's our lead character. maybe there just so happens to be a dude on Earth who joined the military when he was 18 or whatever, and he was a ship engineer, and so he knows all about ships because that's what he did in the military.
Oh, yeah.
And then the military pays for his college, and he goes to linguistics school because he always wanted to learn languages and be a linguist.
So he's got to go to these different
So he's a military
planets
guy.
and
So
learn.
he's like, oh, maybe they picked me because I'm a military guy. And then he's like, oh, well, I'm a linguist. Maybe it's going to have something to do with foreign languages or something. And he gets there, and the AI's like, you were the only person on Earth. It's like, this dude's he's never even been in active combat.
Yeah.
But he knows how to be in active combat. He was trained to be in active combat.
Went to basic.
He went to basic. He knows how to shoot a gun. He knows how to interact with computers. He knows languages. And they're like, oh, it's big military dude. Oh, it's military medic guy. And whoever the fourth guy is. It's like, these guys make a lot of sense. Dude who was in the military for 5 years and is now a linguist.
Used his GI Bill to go to language school?
Yeah, and is now a linguist. What is that all about? It's because he doesn't really need You don't.
That
I
sets
think
us up so good for our introduction to our main character.
he can interact with the other species.
Our main character, we introduce him, he's teaching a class. He's
in his tweed doing like,
He's
well,
in
when you
college.
go to the planet of the Saurians, they function with a.
He's in
writing out the
college,
language.
and whatever, not U.S. military, but whatever like global military at this point in time, shows up, and they're like, "Come with us, sir." And he's like, oh, doing the thing where he's got like his tweed books, and he's walking the hallway, and they're like, "You've been selected by whatever the AI is."
I got to teach a class.
And he's like, "Megan, will you cover my class tomorrow?" And whatever. And anyway, so this dude, languages are great because now he can interact with the other species when they run into them.
Yeah.
And
especially when they figure out when they learn what the truth is.
Yes, and the ship itself, I think the ship itself doesn't speak a language, isn't a language of anything. I think the crazy eldritch creature is so old, it just comes up with its own language.
Oh, and he
so
figures
it
the
programs
language
the
out.
ship in its own language. So our AI, the human AI, found the one guy who could easily interface with the ship's engineering system.
Yeah.
And also maybe learn the language, because if the other people or the other groups would have to spend 2 positions on that. They would have to have somebody that they think could reverse engineer the language that this ship is programmed in, and then have a ship systems engineer.
be able to explain it to the engineer, like, hey, this is what
They're
this
going to
means.
have 2 people. One's going to have to be reading it and explaining to the other dude who's like, I don't know how to reprogram
Well, you've got your military, your combat veteran that's like.
Everybody else will have, we need to find that niche last person, because every other team is going to be military guy who can kill people, healer who can keep people alive, linguist, and an engineer.
Yes.
And our guy is a
our-
linguist and an engineer. So this guy gives us an edge, but what guy gives us the win?
What guy gives us the yes?
What
Is
are
it
we- what
is
are
it
we
is it
missing?
is it oops surprise 5th character, random card for each race?
What do you mean?
So what do you mean? So instead of we've got if our linguist is our engineer, that
Then
combined,
we now have a 4th spot open.
we have a 4th spot open. But do we have? I'm thinking team. The idea. This would be a really cool video game, by the way, because we've got classes. But what if we take this and we spin it in the way of we've got these 4. So instead of him being both, we've got a combat medic, we've got a military veteran, we've got the engineer, and we've got our linguist, our lead character. What if every species is going to have these 4 things?
I don't.
Is the human edge that ours is is 2, and we have a bonus 4?
No, I think yes and no. I think that it depends on the game. So the AI knows in advance.
Yes.
There may be situations in which
rather than him having to
the dungeon-
explain,
if the dungeon took place with everyone in spacesuits in the vacuum of space, you don't need a linguist.
right?
So pretty much everybody always is going to want someone who can keep people alive, and someone who can kill people. But the other 2 spots are like free spots. It's like, so basically every time one of these games happen, if
They're the hedged bet.
if humans get picked, the AI has somebody who is the best killer of human beings on the planet at once, and they snag that person immediately. And then they go, okay, who is the best person to be a medic? Either for this specific scenario, if you're in a meteor shower, maybe you don't want a combat medic. Maybe you want a, what's the doctor that does bones and things? You're more likely to get a broken bone getting hit by shrapnel or whatever than you are something else. I don't know. Maybe you always want a combat medic, but you pretty much want whoever the best combat medic is on the planet in your head, if you're the AI, and who the best killer of people in your head is the AI, because you'll always want those.
Yes.
But your other two are specific to the game, which lends itself to cool characters.
Yeah.
Because it's pretty cool to be the best killer of human beings on the planet. It's pretty cool to be the best.
Kind of a badass.
It's pretty cool to be the best saver of lives on the human planet.
Yeah.
But then it's like, it's inside a ship. I need an engineer and I need a linguist because I don't know what language the computer's going to be programmed in. And I don't know. I need somebody that's going to be able to work the ship's mechanics.
Yes. And ours is both.
Ours is both.
So we get a really cool
So he goes,
Harley Quinn wild card.
So he
fourth
goes,
character.
this is awesome. I have this person, and
Yeah.
this gives humanity our edge.
So what is linguist? Let me put this linguist and engineer, lead character. So our surprise fourth character should be that red herring, that character that is. The AI ran a whole bunch of tests, ran a whole bunch of algorithms. Like, this is the best idea. I've got a free spot open. What helps everyone here the absolute most? And it's got to be some off the wall shit.
Yes.
Like a life coach or a comedian.
A comedian to keep people's spirits up.
Comedian would be kind of funny.
What is if you were going to be in a battle royale, and you had 4 people that could go with you.
Yeah.
Who would you take? You would take somebody else who could kill people. Maybe it's a leader. Maybe if in that particular
Like a political
scenario,
leader kind of thing? Or like a...
No, like
the take charge, like...
Yeah.
You're the badass, but like, I've got the plan.
Yeah, it's like if you're in a situation where your greatest killer of men is also a team leader and such, then great. That's your double guy for this one. That way,
That's not always the case, though.
That way you go, okay, who would be the best, most charismatic leader in a combat scenario? Who's the best killer of people? Who's the best saver of people? And then wild card. And your wild card is the person who's the best for that specific dungeon.
What if it's a smuggler?
What would you need a smuggler for?
You're on a ship in space. Someone that's really good at hiding things in a ship.
Okay.
So they could hide the team, ambush, know where the
Is
compartments
that
might
something?
be.
Well, here's your question: is that something that a military person wouldn't know?
That's fair.
And is it something that a ship engineer would know? Mm-hmm. Oh, there's probably a door over here because
Some sort of
there's always something to do with the reactor core or whatever. There's always an access panel over here.
Yeah.
I think that's what our ship engineer dude is. So like,
Yeah.
I think it's totally cool that one of the alien races is known as like an underbelly race, and their dude that knows the ships is a smuggler because they don't have a navy.
Oh, yeah.
It's like that dude has been running
just based on trade.
That dude has been a gun runner for maybe their race is 200 years old. Maybe that dude's been running guns and alien drugs for 150 years, and he knows where every cubby is in a whole ship, you know?
Yes.
You can always use that with something else, but I think if I had 4 people to take on a thing with me, I would want someone that could very easily get our attention and point us in a right direction, keep us on track. I would want someone who's very good at defending us and killing people. Mm-hmm. I would want someone who's very good at keeping us alive. Mm-hmm. And then the 4th one is tailor-made to the situation at hand. And I think our tailor-made to the situation at hand is engineer specialist.
Yeah.
That's why I think the audience is like, huh? When they see they see the global selection, they see
The human selection.
They see like the guy that's got the longest confirmed sniper kill, and they're like, oh, that dude kills people.
Yeah.
And then they see like some dude in a rucksack that's got saws and bone saws and like all kind of, and they're like, that dude's combat medic. That dude can fix anybody for any reason, anything. He may not, it may have a scar when he's done,
And our dude's
but
got
he can Frankenstein you back
our
together.
dude's got a fucking satchel full of fucking books.
Exactly, and our dude has like, and then you get
Like a
the
handgun.
leader dude who's like Mr. Badass walking through there with everybody. Everybody's behind him. He steps on the ship first, gun in hand, and you're like, that dude's awesome. And then our dude's the guy that's like, he's got a pistol and like manuals, like systems engineer manuals or whatever. He's like, oh, I don't know what I'm gonna need. I'm gonna bring everything.
Is it our... Ooh, I'm trying to think what would be sick in this scenario where you have to potentially, likely escape more than you're going to engage. Right? If you are engaged, you're not going to stop and fight. You're going to try and get yourself in a position that's better. Especially if you're in a bad spot or if you've got to get to a spot or whatever or scout something out. And maybe it's a scout. Maybe it's somebody that's like a parkour guy or...
Tell me why you want another person. Does it need to be 5?
Oh, I thought we were trying to find a fourth.
No, I think we have team lead, kill dudes, medic.
Oh, sorry. I thought team lead was the kill dudes.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
If it is, then that could be somebody else's edge.
Right. Okay. So if we go with the team, like the guy that's like good at leading people, what's his thing? Is he just good at leading people? What's his?
I think his background is he's run 700 Black Ops missions and he's never had a mission failure. But he's not necessarily the dude that's...
So we got the three military. We got three
He's
military
not the dude at the
guys.
front of the line kicking in a door. He's in the back going, you go that way, you go that way.
Yeah.
I'm going this way. Here's our mission intel. What did you find behind that door? No, that's a fake. Go to the next door.
Yeah.
The dude who's in the front is that killer dude who's killed 8 people in a room.
He kicks
and he's
the door
like,
down.
door number 7, got it. And then he gets shot 4 times, and the medic's like trying to work on him while he's kicking in the next door.
No, I like that because it gives us this character that's the his job is to know what everybody's good at.
Correct.
And to point them in the right direction.
Correct. And that's why he's like, what the hell
He's
are
not
you
the
giving
badass
me-
guy. He's
the
the
hell
smart
are you
guy.
giving me a linguist for?
Yes. Or maybe he's the only one that like all these guys are like, what? And he's
They're
like,
like, what? And he's like, it's going to have to be something.
It's something.
We don't know what it is, but it's something.
Yeah.
You got to trust, whatever the AI's name is, you got to trust the AI.
team lead. Okay, so we've got badass military, combat medic, linguist and engineer, and team lead. Let's put leader. Sick. Okay, so we've got these characters. We've got our world. We've got our game. We've got the it's not what it seems. So we've got our dungeon.
The stepping
not what it
stones to the
seems.
end. I think we're in a good spot.
Should we start the first draft?
I think we saw it in the first episode. This one, we're going to do a cut. We're going to name stuff. It's going to be a whole lot of us not talking a whole lot and then shouting random names at each other. like in the last episode, if we come up with something interesting or the reason we named it
Yes.
something, it'll come up. We'll say, oh, it's because we went down this rabbit hole and this is why we named this thing like we did. But we'll kind of put it together. We'll do it, and we'll see you again for the first draft. We're back. Thank you for joining us, and now's the time where we tell you about the first draft of this movie.
Yeah, this was a long one. This took us a good minute, a good
It took
hours.
It took a while to come together
Yeah,
near the end.
Writer's block was a real thing
Yeah.
with this one, but we think we came up with something really good. We really nailed down a lot of these points and fleshed it out. So we're going to get into the synopsis, or the first draft for our movie that we will title Morphology.
We open this movie in space. It shows a satellite sort of revolving distantly from this ship. It is a large ship that is kind of sort of broken down. In the background, you get this crazy looking black hole that this ship sort of slowly rotates.
derelict.
It's derelict. It's clearly been knocked out, destroyed. It doesn't work anymore. We pull out, and on this satellite, you can see a few holograms. Some of them look like strange creatures you've never seen before, but one of them is very human looking. It's clearly some sort of artificial thing that is a hologram on this satellite. They sort of speak to each other for a second, and then you see them beginning to disappear, like they are leaving this little satellite. And then we pull around and look at the face of our female artificial intelligence on this satellite. The background sort of blurs, and we pull back out again, and we are in the office in Washington, D.C. of the HPC, the Human Planetary Coalition.
Yeah.
This is our government entity that has jumped in since in the future.
It's like the Humanitarian Galactic Committee.
All of Earth has kind of come together, and they've colonized a few planets, and this is sort of that coalition that is the government for all of humanity now. On this screen, the AI opens.
Yes, so we get introduced to our AI. Minerva is her name, and she comes in, and we sit down, and she introduces our champions that will be competing in this game. These champions that are selected by the AI, who they think they're going to be the best options for success.
In this room is like the whoever the head of this
president.
Whoever the head of this sort of like president or maybe like what's the security the
HDF, Humanitarian Defense Force.
The HDF, which is our like secret service, but also our military and all that. And so this AI shows up in her hologram, and she says, "The dungeon has been prepared."
Yes, the dungeon has been prepared. We're going to learn who our champions are, where they're from. Yes.
She says that the dungeon is prepared, which, you don't really know what that means until later, but she is telling them, and the people in here seem concerned, and they are ready. You see people in the background. It's sort of like a situation room. You see people in the background moving. They're doing things. Whatever this dungeon thing is, it's a big deal. And she, Minerva, says, "I've chosen the champions." She starts and begins to rattle off names, and as she rattles off names, the person in charge is sort of telling people what to do. Oh, go get him. And he's clearly got some person behind him that's sort of at a computer, and they are searching these names.
So we get our Humanitarian Defense Force combat medic, Arabella Hestia.
So the girl behind this person, and she says, she's just come back from a mission. She's on Earth now, sending a liaison from Greece to pick her up.
Yes, there we go. Sick. All right, now we have another HDF, CQC, close quarters combat specialist, Eric Solheim.
She looks him up, and she's like, he is on a training run right now. We know he's planet side. We're sending people to find him, and you're seeing them like pop up on her screen. Hestia is this sort of tattooed medic, like sleeves, very cool looking, and Eric is
He's our beefcake.
Close quarters combat specialist, Marine. He's absolutely shredded and is like, you look at him and you're like, that is a big, like,
it's the guy you want on your side.
Norwegian, Swedish dude. Like, that dude looks like Thor. He is going to murder somebody.
And then we've got our, probably one of the cool guys. We got Boston SWAT commander, as a team leader, Denver Jackson.
So the people in the background are sort of talking about this, and they're like, oh, this guy must be the muscle. Oh, she's the medic. Okay, well, who's the team leader? Denver. And then they look him up, and she goes, Boston SWAT leader, Denver. And they're like, oh, team leader. That guy, he's had 20 years in the police force. There's a spaceport in Boston. He's seen everything. So typically in these games, you're starting to get the feeling that in these games, even the people here, they've seen this dungeon before, and they know the kind of people that normally get picked. They know you normally need a medic. They know you normally want a muscle guy. They know you normally want a team leader. And then we get our final name.
Our final name, Xander Wynn.
Xander Wynn. And she... Is it... It says that this person is a linguist currently in the Himalayas? Is this? And Minerva says, yes, that's him.
That's the one. Former HDF ship engineer. He's got some
guy,
experience.
Yeah, like no combat experience, anything like that. He was a ship engineer for a couple of years, and now he's a linguist who's out in the Himalayas doing something. And it's like, this is not the normal kind of person that is picked for this job. Granted, we don't know much. Watching the movie, you don't know much now, but you can tell that these people are like,
this is weird.
What? Who is this guy? And that ends our opening and begins the actual sort of movie itself as we pick up on the Himalayas.
Yes, we cut to our Act 1, and we cut to military vehicles, these Humvees driving through. Their military's moving through this town in the Himalayas, and they find Xander, and he's in his study or a classroom working on what seems to be like a Rosetta Stone.
Almost like a new Rosetta Stone. It seems like there are a couple of different languages on it, and none of them have never been read before.
Yeah.
They don't know what they are, so they've had this guy come in, and
he's
begun breaking down the language to see if he can translate it into something. Well, the government very quickly walks up on him and is like, you Xander Wynn? Yeah? And they grab him by the shoulders and start walking him to a Humvee, telling him, you've been chosen as a champion for this year's dungeon, and you're coming with us. You're going to Washington, D.C. We're going to parade you around, and then you're getting on a ship. And he's very, what are we doing? Kind of like stuffing his files in and grabbing his books. What? Can we do it next? Nope, can't do it. You got to come with us now.
I'm so close to a breakthrough.
Yeah. Shoving him into a Humvee and then shoving him into some sort of airship and taking him back to D.C.
Yeah, so he gets shipped off. They take him to the port. They fly him to D.C. for this massive, galactically televised dinner. Announces the champions, all the species that are competing in this game.
There's all kind of stuff. They end up at almost like a red carpet event. Like, it's huge.
It's a big deal.
This random dude who is like stuffing files in, he gets off this ship, and there's probably military people, but there's also probably TV crews and stuff that are there watching him come out so that they can be on their news channel being like, and the final champion from Earth.
What do you think the game is this year?
What?
Yeah. But they go to this dinner, and we get to meet. He gets to meet all of our other champions, and we also get to. So he meets Hestia, for instance, and sees her tattoos and sees like the Caduceus staff.
So it's a pretty girl sits next to him and has the sleeve tattoos, and he looks at it and he sees that it's like a Caduceus, and there's other inscriptions on there, but he, being a person who can read a bunch of different languages,
it's like, oh, that's in Greek.
The Greek writing on her, and is like, oh, do no harm. That's really interesting. And she thinks it's cool that somebody, has read the Greek on her arm. It doesn't really happen very often to her. And they have an interesting conversation, but
we also get to learn what during this dinner, it is announced to the species, humans, and the other races involved.
It is assumed
they have a similar prize.
Later, it would be assumed that other alien races probably also have one of these as their champions are chosen.
Yes. And we learned that the prize for the winners of this game is a planet within the Goldilocks zone of a solar system for that species. So the AI have located planets, and they go, if you guys win, you get this one.
Which is
how these games
interesting for the audience to learn a little bit, because you see the people at this, the fancy people at this dinner are like, oh, a whole planet this year? Oh my goodness! Last year it was an asteroid full of cobalt. It's a whole habitable planet.
Yeah.
And so everybody's talking, and you're learning like, okay, this is something that happens every so often. We're not really sure, but it seems like the prizes may be different every time, but they're always like massive. They're always a planet or a resource or something.
Yeah.
And
it's these intergalactic Olympic level games.
The people start to get excited but you can see the other champions
A little nervous.
a little nervous because they're learning. You know, at some point they're talking, and you see them get somber, and Xander's like, "What happened to the mood?" And Eric's like, "Good prize, bad game."
Yeah.
It means the bigger the prize, the worse the game this year is going to be.
And this is the best prize.
This is a great prize. This is a great prize. We learn the other species involved. You see these like hammer-headed shark people.
Yes.
You see some like plasma people. You see like reddish people with horns. It's a whole thing. But you're sort of seeing all the different species that are lined up for this, and while all of that's playing in the background, you're getting this conversation from them about, you know, the good prize, bad game.
And then, so we have our dinner, we have our meeting of the champions, we learn the prizes, and then it's kind of like, all right, time to shove these people into a ship and send them off to the dungeon.
The dungeon.
That only the AI know where it is. They pilot the ships. They send them off to this place.
And you sort of heard that in this thing. They talk
Yeah.
about the dungeon, and they're like, this year's dungeon, you'll find out later what it is, but here are the species competing in the dungeon, and here's the prize for this year's dungeon.
And so they get on this thing, and this is where our champions, our characters meet Minerva, who begins to explain to them the dungeon, the rules.
Most people know, but she goes back through it for everyone and the audience.
Yeah.
She gives the spiel, which is
You can't bring weapons, can't bring certain
every
things.
year the dungeon happens. Whatever species are in it is a random draw. The dungeon itself, what it looks like, is a random draw. Nothing happens to the species that lose other than those who are competing, who might die. But the winners get this resource. The resource, this was all done to stop interplanetary wars. There's enough species in this galaxy that they don't want to be fighting over resources or killing each other, so they do this as like a pseudo war. Everybody sends a thing. Oh, here's this resource, this asteroid of cobalt that all these species might want. Okay, send everybody over there. Whoever wins, that species gets the thing. And each year the AIs choose who they think is the best on their planet to do the game. The AIs get a little bit of pre-knowledge, so they can choose what champions that are on their planet or alive at the time that they think best suit the challenge at hand for this dungeon. And they are hand-selected by Minerva from Earth. The other AIs essentially choose theirs. And then she gets more into the nitty-gritty of the game, where Minerva produces a smaller version of herself that she explains is cut off from her information sources. So this is like a little personal AI that she calls Minnie. And it looks just like Minerva, but smaller and a little bit nicer. And that little Minerva is in all of their communicators together that sort of act like walkies and maps. And she explains, if you visit a place, I can map it for you.
She can catalog their information.
If the dungeon happens to be a forest and you eat something and it's good, I can make note that those berries are edible. It's their own little personal assistant while they're there, but it doesn't have Minerva's knowledge. So like it doesn't already know what the dungeon's going to be.
Yeah.
It's not going to help them. It doesn't have a pre-map.
It's just it's a repository of gathered
It's a
information, not
communicator.
predetermined.
It's a repository, a communicator, and it will let them know when a team is eliminated or if they are the winners.
Yes.
And so it's sort of like a little in-game communication and announcer to them, sort of. But she sort of gives the little chipper, normal Minerva talks like this. She's an AI that has been thousands of years old. And
I'm Minnie.
Minnie is chipper, and she gives them the rules. 3 plus me. You can only take in 3 personal items plus me in the communicator. So it's like small arms, knife, maybe food, whatever you want to bring in first.
Flashlight
plus the communicator. You really don't know what you're in for until
you dock.
You get there. And and Minerva basically says, you should get to sleep now because you may not get the chance again. You don't know. When we will land there, and then 3 hours later, the game begins. So basically, you'll get there, you'll get to see the dungeon, you'll get 3 hours to make a plan, and then I leave you there.
Yes.
and you go.
So we dock. We arrive. Our characters arrive at this thing. They hook in, and
The
the
windows
timer starts.
the windows sort of come
Oh,
up,
as they're pulling up, yeah, we see this
and
derelict
they
ship.
get to see the derelict ship. This is the first time they see it.
Yes.
And so they know it's not a jungle, it's not a desert. Their dungeon this year is the inner corridors of some derelict ship.
That they don't recognize. They don't realize the
recognize
origin
the
of this
ship.
ship. And Xander notices on the side of the ship as they're pulling in.
Something interesting and starts making note of it. But
Yes.
we don't really know yet what it is. He just sees the name on the side of the ship that is in a different language, and we can't tell what it says. And he starts making note of it.
So they dock, and our timer starts. Our 3 hours, which is a quick briefing from Minerva, basically them going.
Great. It's a ship.
The game will begin in 3 hours. You are on this ship, and the game that we will be playing is Battle Royale. And they have to, and that kind of sets everybody on edge. Is the last team alive?
Last team standing, last man standing, or last team standing. It's a rough one. It certainly is. Better prize
Begets
worst
the best
game.
prize. Yeah,
It is a habitable planet.
and you get the idea that this game doesn't happen often. This is like the
does,
1 in
if
20.
it does happen every year, it is like what's the King of the Hill or a scavenger hunt that's dangerous, not like find a lucky egg, but something dangerous where people could still die and likely
Right,
do.
you're engaged in a
But this
difficult competition.
This one specifically is pretty much everybody's going to die except for one team or one person or whatever.
Yeah.
But the prize is a habitable planet. So instead of having a war so that one of these species can colonize, you send 4 people from a bunch of different species, and whoever wins gets the planet to keep from, interplanetary war and things like that. It's an interesting system. But they see what it is, and they begin to make their plan. And Eric is like, we should go for the armory. And Hestia is like, no, we should get resources. We should do blah, 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 blah. Xander is deer in the headlights. He doesn't really have a plan. This is what the team leader's for. Denver picks up the reins. He's a hardened police chief from Boston, and he's got a plan. And his plan is everybody's going to be headed for the armory. Everybody's going to want the weapons better than what they came in with.
Biggest fight is going to be in front of that.
We're going to the life support. And the plan, which sounds strange to begin with, makes more sense when everybody starts to think about it. His plan is to head to the life support and turn it off. Basically, kill everybody all at once, and either we keep it on in ours or we find something to breathe through or whatever, and we survive it, and everyone else suffocates while they're trying to do
sit
something
there and wait them
out. It is a terrifying plan, but that's why he's the team leader. That's why the AI chose him, because
So they go.
he'll come up with a better plan than everyone else.
So they're like, all right, this is the plan. Let's get ready. Doors open, and we get to see our other alien species kind of coming out. And our main 3 other ones are the this shark hammerhead-like race of aquatic beings that we have named the oh man, where'd it go?
Carcracol.
Carcraecal. Yes, the Carcraecal are an aquatic shark-like species, hammerhead-like heads. The other is this horned, violet-eyed, kind of red-skinned humanoid species that we've called the Gentarith.
And then, so we see them getting out of their, we see the humans get out of their ship. You see the doors close, and as they're like getting off, you see the ship dock, and then you see the doors close in this hangar. Basically, the ships come in, they dock in this thing, and then they go out of this hangar. You see them get dropped off in the hangar, and you see each one sort of get dropped off in a different hangar. You see the sharks step out. You see the Gentarith step out, the horned people. And then our other like faction
kind of amorphous
is our shifters. They're like a amorphous sort of people. And we see them all step out, but like distanced from each other.
We don't see them all head in a direction.
We don't see them all like walking off together as a team. We see them sort of spread, and then cuts to our humans again as they move through. Denver begins leading the teams towards this life support system near the bridge. We've seen all the aliens move. Very quickly, though, we figure out what the large danger about this place is, as they are moving through corridors, and all of a sudden there are
environmental
drones,
danger.
or
Yeah,
environmental dangers are the security drones that are left over from this derelict ship. They are, barely functioning, sort of twitching. Who knows how long they've been patrolling these corridors, but there are these drones, and we get into a nice action firefight of them fighting these drones. It's a close call, but they end up destroying them, and they get a gun, one of these weapons that the drones carries, and all of a sudden our CQC combat specialist Eric has a weapon, a good weapon, and it's a great start for our team.
Yes. And meanwhile, while we're doing this, we're putting this gun back together. We're fixing all of these things. We've got Minnie kind of noticed that Xander is taking notes on his pad.
He's got a little notepad.
He's sitting there scratching away.
He's like, you can see him thinking and making notes. She sort of asks what it is that he's doing, and
and he's like, it doesn't make. He's like,
I'm really close. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, the name of the ship is I recognize it.
And she's confused. She's like, you recognize it?
Yeah.
He says, yeah, it's sort of like, it looks remarkably like the language that I was studying before I left.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. But
the name doesn't mean
sense.
anything.
It translates to the Conquer Devourer or something.
Yeah, like linguistically, it's
the ship's name
Ekteb
doesn't make
Thursh.
the ship's name doesn't make any sense. Ekteb Thursh would be what we believe the pronunciation to have been.
Yes.
But like the context isn't there, and it seems a little wrong, but it translates to this Conqueror Devourer, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And she's like, oh, that's interesting. And as they're talking and moving on from this gun, and she sort of makes note that he's translating things, and maybe this was the right choice to bring a linguist.
Yeah.
And this is where we sort of learn the roles that everyone has taken, which is the medic. Obviously, you want somebody to keep your team alive. The killer, you want somebody who's a really
Why
good
the AI
killer.
made these choices.
The leader, you want somebody who's a really good leader and can come up with a cool plan. But there's always that outlier for each team. For every new dungeon, there's an outlier. And this is kind of what Minnie's talking to them, and they're talking to each other. In this case, maybe you want a desert survivalist if your dungeon is on a desert. Or maybe you want somebody who's really familiar with jungles if it's a jungle. Well, you got an alien ship in a language you don't know. You need a linguist. And you need an engineer. Somebody who can work a ship that they may not know, or be able to program stuff, or figure out what all the submenus are and be able to do things. Well,
got both.
The AI got lucky. He found somebody with both. It's a person who can translate languages and a person who has years of experience as a ship engineer. And that's kind of the human edge right now, is that instead of only having one, or instead of using two different spaces on your team for these two different things, somebody to translate and tell the engineer what they're looking at, and then the engineer to do the thing, they've combined theirs into one, which makes sense why our guy who probably has no business in an active combat zone is in an active combat zone.
Brought a pen and paper to a knife fight.
Paper to a knife fight.
To a gunfight. So on their way, doesn't make sense. Translate the thing. It's pronounced Ekteb Thursh. That's weird. Conquest Devour means nothing. It doesn't. There's no information there. So they're moving forward. Like, all right, we gotta get going. We gotta get to this the life support system. We gotta get to the bridge, and we engage in combat. They are fired upon by the Gentareth.
They are sort of ambushed, I guess. Maybe they hear them coming or something, and they run into full scale, all four Gentareth in front of them.
Yeah, it's a firefight.
A large firefight begins with the team leader who's kind
a
of
gun.
caught out. The team leader is kind of a little bit far ahead and gets caught out and gets hit. And you can see him, wounded. He gets pinned down and says over the communicators with them, he's like, there's a door here. I see the door. I'm going to cover me. I'm going to go through the door and try to find a better position.
Yeah.
So he shoots the door and
What the fuck, over?
goes through the door. And we're looking at our characters. We're not seeing what he's doing. He shoots the door, and the door swings open, and he goes in, and over the radio, they hear, "What the fuck?
Yeah, what the fuck
I'm
is
in an
this?
airlock." With like a sizable space between the what is this and I'm in an airlock.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the Gentarth see where he's gone. And for a second on the communicator, you wait, and he says, "Let him come in."
Yeah.
And we see now inside this airlock that he is grievously wounded. It's not just a through and through.
He ain't gonna make it.
He's hurt. And the Gentarth sort of collapse on him to try and kill him and make it a 3v4 and get an edge. Well, they all kind of pour into this room not knowing what it is. And the team leader Denver's shooting at them and trying to pick them off, but really trying to bait them in. And
so they reach the airlock.
they reach the airlock behind as the Gentarth go in. They show up behind them and close the door.
Yes. And we've got Hestia, we've got Xander going, "What the fuck are you doing?" And Eric
Eric is closing
has to make a
the door,
decision.
and Eric looks in through the little porthole window, and he knows that Denver's
he knows he's done.
in rough shape. He knows he was standing pretty close to him. Everybody else a little far away, and he sort of looks in that airlock, and they're like, "We got to get him out. We got to help him." Eric looks in and sees all the Gentarth in there and goes, "1 for 4? I'll make that trade any day." And hits the airlock button, and the rear wall opens, and all 5 of them are sucked into the void of space.
Spaced on out.
So he ends up sort of killing Denver and killing all 4 of the Gentarth
Yes.
and eliminating a full team where the Minnie pipes up and says the Gentarth have been eliminated. And it's a whole team. And now Xander and Hestia are very upset with Eric. You killed him.
concerning.
What the hell, man? Come on. Like, you didn't take a second thought. And to Eric, who is Mr. Combat Zone, it was like, dude, the mathed. He was like, it checked out.
Yeah, we lose that fight 9 times out of 10.
We lose that fight 9 times out of 10. They ambush us. They hurt our team leader. We're in a 3v4. They're dumb. They all followed him to a room that they didn't know what was in there, and it bit them. And it immediately turned that fight on its head and allowed us literally a win with the push of a button.
Yeah.
Like, you don't get those all the time.
Yeah.
They're mad at him. Unfortunately, this fight has sort of pushed them off track.
Mm-hmm. So they got to make their way
were
back.
headed toward the life support system, and they've sort of been knocked off their track, pushed into somewhere else, and now they have to find their way back to where they were going.
Mm-hmm.
Which is an interesting place because Minnie starts picking up a strange signature, like a distress call or something, and leads them in a different direction.
Yeah, we go through some side hallways that look like they haven't really been found.
Yeah,
It's an interesting direction.
So some strange things, and we come upon a very strange sight, a shipwreck within a shipwreck. It seems like a small ship has crashed into the side of this larger ship and is able to be accessed. You can get into it, but it seems like that's where this beacon is coming from.
Yes. So we get in there and we're able to draw power to it. Xander is a ship engineer. It's this ship's dead. It's been here for a long time. And so Xander's able to reroute power to it, get it booted up to the point where he can get some information off the computer, and learns that it's not in English. It's not in a language that he immediately recognizes. After a moment,
Yeah, I mean, they all come in and they're like, it's another alien ship. Like, what's happening?
Yeah.
Xander comes in and plays with it for a minute and is like,
it's not alien.
no, it's not alien.
It's Korean.
It's Korean. And we see that it's a different human language.
Yeah.
And he knows it because he's an expert linguist. So instead of we think it's sort of the same as where they're in, some strange alien species, but is a human ship. So they start picking around.
Shouldn't be here.
And they're finding like the leftover suits of dead bodies. And it seems like a struggle has gone on in here. And we see there's only one like escape pod here. And they are able to break into that escape pod, and they see what appears to be the leftovers of some humanoid body.
Yeah,
in its suit.
someone attempting to pilot this thing
And
will
they
be
look
prepared.
around and they see, like, in marker on the wall, days until rescue, and it's got, Sharpie marker marks on the wall, and you can tell the marker runs dry, and then it begins to be scratched, tally marks on the wall, how many days this body has been in here, this person has been in here.
Yeah, and then
then-
at the end,
And then carved into the other wall, they see words. It says, "She lied." Strange. So they start digging in deeper. Minnie also wants to know. So Xander's sort of looking in the computers and sort of trying to dig up what he can. And Minnie is in there. And Minnie says, "That's strange. It says here that the captain filed or sent out this distress beacon, and
got a response.
and Minerva responded and said that she was sending he says that Minerva says she was sending a rescue, but that the only thing close enough was a satellite that had another pod on it, but it could only take one person."
Yes.
And she says, and strangely enough, I don't see a log here of it ever actually being sent.
And once they dig through the captain's or this person's logs, and they learn that they sent out the distress signal. It's written. It's cataloged.
It's written.
He sent
there.
it.
And Minerva said she was sending something to pick them up.
And we've learned that the
it could
crew
only hold one person.
fought over the final seat.
It appears as though the conclusion that Eric comes to after looking at it is this was a fight scene, and they realized that only one person would be able to get saved, and it did not go well. They fought each other, and eventually the one survivor who was going to get picked up got into the escape pod here on this planet, or whatever it was this ship that he crashed into, and was able to sit in here for as long as he could sit in here and see when it was that he would live. They also find in there that they had taken samples. When this team had crash landed, they have, the reason I said planet a second ago is because when they crashed, in the notes, it says that they crash landed on some deserted planet.
But that doesn't make sense. We're on a ship.
Exactly. They went around and looked to see if they could find anything habitable, a place that they could maybe survive instead of slowly dying inside their ship. And what they found was some cavern.
Some like organic subterranean space.
Strange cavern with weird readings, and they got this sample of some sort of like gooey substance that they couldn't figure out what it was. It kept showing up weird on their readings, and so they put it into this sample container and they hid it in the ship. They figure out where. Hestia finds out where, takes the sample, and just out of human curiosity is like, well, I'm keeping this.
Yeah, like this is something.
This is interesting. And they are finished with this ship, exit to continue back on their course, and they are talking, and they're thinking, oh, Minerva was supposed to send a rescue for these people, but it says in the logs that they thought she was, but we don't see anywhere where she actually did. Clearly nothing ever came, but they talked to her.
Yeah, like we can see that they spoke. This is weird.
What happened? The AIs are taking people and they're sending us to this planet.
And AI could have found this ship.
And yeah, and it should know all this stuff.
Yeah.
And especially if they're the ones building these dungeons, like what is going on? And so they start to get really suspect of Minerva and Minnie itself, that it might not be all the way truthful. And so they disable their communicators. They're all together. They don't really need...
Yeah, we got Eric's like, I don't trust her.
They don't really need a walkie right now. Eric doesn't trust her. They're all sort of iffy about it. And so even though she protests, they turn her off because they don't want the AI knowing their business anymore. They leave and course correct back to try and find
the life support.
The life
We gotta
support
get to it
system.
Still.
On the way, they discover throughout the ship a body. And the body looks remarkably like one of the Gentarith, which are the red creatures that were all killed in the airlock.
Which is weird because they spaced 4 Gentarith.
100% Eric is convinced he sent all 4 of them out of space. He saw 4 people. They got shot out into space.
And they got confirmation. All of them are dead.
They got confirmation. The communicator said their team has been eliminated. But there's a body here in the hallway. There's a body of a Gentarith. And they, like every kid does, poke it with a stick. Yeah, it's a dead guy. But they don't want to turn Minnie back on to ask her about anything because they're so they
Suspicious.
suspect that she is up to no good.
Yeah.
And so it remains a question in their head that we thought we killed them all. How are there more of them? What is going on here? It's adding to all the questions that you have so far throughout the movie. What's going on?
So we reach the life support dock. Well, no, because they get the communicator from the Gentareth. Right? They open it up and, well, it's what did they see? I thought we had talked something about that.
Yeah, they open the Gentareth communicator.
Yes.
And ask that
What happened? That AI.
What happened.
Yeah.
And so it shows them
that one's perspective.
And it follows this guy into the room, and you see for a split second through, like, as it's about to follow him, it sees him go in the door and it changes position, and you can hear Denver from inside the room go, "What the fuck?" And you get a glimpse through the door of the walls inside the airlock being this like fleshy mass as they shift and quiver, and then the inside of it is actually an airlock.
As this door is brute forced open.
And his guys are already moving, and he's like, "Wait, what's going on?" And then poof, they go through. It's an airlock. Yeah. They're trapped.
And then we see something plunge. We see this Gentareth's point of view that we're looking through. Something's killed it. And that's where we lose our point of view of it. It's dead. So something else killed this one.
I think
obviously
I think it was showing they were going back and watching through all of this footage, and it can show you your teammate's perspective.
Yes.
And so, but even in that perspective, you can see three others. Mm-hmm. You can see three other Gentareths. So it still doesn't make any sense.
Yes.
And you're confused and wondering why this one's dead here on the ground, if it's looking at all these ones that we just saw get shot out of an airlock.
Yeah, where was there 5?
What happened to this guy?
Yeah. So, nothing they can do about it. That's super weird. Let's keep moving.
That's weird. They keep going, and eventually they make it to near the bridge where the life support system is. On their way, they sort of are breaking into things, and they're able to find like respirators, masks, whatever, and they put those on, and the engineer does his thing, gets ready, and boom, powers down the life support. And they're looking at like sort of security cameras throughout, and they see this large battle going on over the armory. There are a couple of different teams that are now fighting to try and get into the armory, or maybe one already has, and they're using the weapons against each other. The armory truly is a bloodbath, just like Denver said. That's where everybody went. And then you see all of them, boom, and they begin to choke as the air is taken from this place, and they are suffocating and dying, and whatever artificial gravity is turned off, and they are floating. And it's a question throughout this, a number of things. How is that guided? How does the ship still have power? What are all these systems doing online if the derelict ship, the people don't know? Did the AI build it in a state of disrepair, but it still works? How are the drones still here? What is going on?
Yeah, there's a lot of things that don't make sense.
There's a lot of questions that don't make a whole lot of sense. And we see these people, we see all these different teams die as they are.
But we do see a team not die.
We do see one team not die.
Yes. The Carcrations.
The shark people are an aquatic species.
They've already got.
So what they have are these large, you can't really put a helmet on a hammerhead shark. So
fish tank respirators.
Are these like fish tank respirators that cover their gills and pump water through them and then re-aerate the water. And they are able to survive on the oxygen that is in that water for long enough.
We see that whole team alive.
For our team to pull the life support back on so that they can live. And we see this team of sharks now has all of the armory to work with, every bit of gear in there.
And they know that whoever did this They know where to find him.
We cut to them for that awesome fight and the choking and everybody dying, and then you see them putting 2 and 2 together, that the life support system went off, and then the life support system came back on, and the majority of teams are dead.
Yes, they know.
In all
I guess
likelihood,
they know all the other races.
it is everyone but them and the team that pulled the life support.
Yes.
So they begin to formulate a plan, and they are going to go to the bridge, to the life support, and kill the remaining team, since they have all the armory and ammunition and everything.
So our team rallies. All right, we did this. There's one team alive. We got to get to the thing. It's the only ones we got to beat. Let's get out of here. So they're get their wits about them, make their way out of the life support center, and head towards the docks.
They take a little bit of time.
Hangar, sorry.
They take a little bit of time
Yeah.
to like get their bearings, and they can watch the security footage. And when they notice that this team maybe has figured it out, they're like, okay, we need to move. They know what's up.
Yeah, they know where we are. We got to go.
So they try to leave the bridge area and end up directly in the sights of these sharks.
Yeah, it's an ambush.
It's an ambush. Again, they walk out. All of them are ready, and they are immediately fired upon by heavy arms fire and all kinds of way outgunning them. It is at this point that even though Hestia and Xander are still mad at Eric for killing Denver, they move outside of a door, and Eric shuts the door behind them and says, find somewhere to hide.
Yeah.
And closes the door, and you see him hit the lock, and all 4 of the sharks kind of peek out from their hiding spots, and he says again, 1 for 4, I'll take these odds any day. And we see the knockdown, drag-out fight between him and the 4 sharks.
It's his hero moment.
It is truly Eric's hero moment, and he kills 3 of them.
Yes, we see him kill 3 of these sharks. Like, he throws down. He's ripping the respirators off. He's ripping the gills out. He's stabbing, fighting, biting, shooting, whatever. He goes down.
The
last shark kills him.
And the last shark is able to kill him, but his other 3 buddies are dead.
So now we're in a 1-on-2 scenario.
We're in a 1-on-2. It's looking good for our heroes. They are moving through this ship, and they decide that they'll head to the hangar. On the off chance that Eric does something good or they do win, to exit this place, the ship's going to have to come pick them up. And if the sharks think that they're going to win, the ship will have to come pick them up. So hopefully maybe they can set up some sort of ambush in the hangar and get them to come to them.
Yeah.
They're tired of being ambushed. As they're running, they end up going past the science wing of this ship. And that's where Hestia stops them.
Yes, this now is a good time. It's like, hey, it's just us. We're heading in a direction. We can take this detour. They're not going to take the same detour. They're going to go to the hangar first if that's where they're heading. Let's go into the science wing. Let's test this thing while we're here. Let's figure out what the hell this is before we go any further with it.
The sample that she took from that strange ship within a ship, she really wants to know what it is. Throughout this story, she is very interested in what these people left behind, why the dungeon itself hasn't cleaned it up, why the AI haven't come and gotten it, what is this still doing here, and why is it important? What happened to this? So they end up in the science wing, and she begins to do some tests on this sample. She puts it in a couple of like mass spectrometer and stuff like that, and starts trying to read what it is, what's in this sample container. While that is running, we get our interesting, intimate moment.
It's going to take a few hours for this to go.
It's going to take a few hours from the flirty DC, him noticing her tattoos and talking about them, and her dress, DC. There's a little bit of a thing between the two of them, and that thing is
Adrenaline's coming down, and it's culminating.
Consummated here in the science wing. After which, the sample seems to be finished, and Hestia goes from this sort of like a cafeteria room, I guess, back into like a break room, back into the actual science wing to finish, to go collect the sample and finish it. Xander here takes a moment to check over his notes and see that he has actually hurt himself and is waiting for her to come back out and doctor him, and he's looking at it and
Get a little owie sticker.
trying to make sense of everything in here. At which point she comes back in, and he asks for help with his wound, and she comes over and he puts his arm out and she's going to help patch him up. And they're having a quiet conversation, not about much. And then he's sort of like trying to ask her about the samples. And she's not necessarily dodging the question, but she's like, that's not important right now. You're hurt. Let's fix you up. And she goes to take his hand, and she puts her hand out.
The tattooed hand.
Her
arm.
Her sleeved tattoo that has the caduceus and the Greek do no harm. He notices as the hand gets put out that the Greek doesn't read anymore.
Something's a little wrong.
It's not right.
Yeah.
Something's off about it. The letters don't. He's a linguist. He can't read it anymore. And he starts to back up and, actually,
No, maybe I got something in my bag.
give me a second. I think I've got something.
Yeah.
And Hestia's like, what do you do? Come here. I need to fix this. What? Stop. Why are you going? What are you doing? And he opens the door to the actual science wing, and at the desk where the sample is, where Hestia would be, he sees Hestia with a hole in her chest and sucking bad wind as she is dying from something that has attempted to kill her. And he slams the door and locks it behind him, and you hear whatever this creature that we thought was Hestia slamming into the door wall, trying to get in and to get him. And he goes over to Hestia and obviously has just had this intimate moment with her.
Yeah, he's trying to help her.
He's trying to help her in some way, but it's clear he cannot. It's clear she is going to die.
Yeah.
And her last words to him are, take the sample. So he pulls the sample out of this machine.
Some notes.
And takes the chip that is its like note readout, puts it in his pocket, and he's trying to find a way to escape. And he sees a door on the other side that would lead somewhere, and he begins to go to that door. And as he goes to that door, the door itself disappears, becomes part of the wall again. We don't know what's going on. What the heck is going on? And he's digging through the laboratory and finds a torch, almost like a overpowered Bunsen burner.
Yeah.
And he begins to torch the floor as this creature is bashing the door in, about to get to him. And he torches this hole in the floor. And when he's done, you can see that he smells it and looks down, and the floor that is metal, between the two floors. So you've got metal, and between the two floors is like this cauterized, fleshy, burnt thing, confusing even more to him as he slips down this hole and begins running with the sample through the corridors.
Yes. So he runs. She's attacked in the room. She dies. He jumps through the hole and he runs to the hangar. He gets in there. He hides in the control room where he's terrified. He's alone. Friends are dead.
On the way there,
and he's got to turn Minnie back on.
He is rushing away from this thing, and he stumbles and looks down and sees.
Oh, yeah.
He stumbles and looks down and sees a dead shark person in the floor. 3 of them. Why is this person dead? He didn't necessarily see how many died back there.
3 were dead back.
But he saw 4. When they ambushed him, there were 4 sharks. Why is there a dead one here? They killed every other team. There couldn't be anyone left to kill this shark. If it died with Eric.
Yeah.
All 4 of them were there. They were the last 2 teams. Why is this one dead right here? The same thing as the Gentarth. He finds another dead body on the ground. He's running. He doesn't have time to stop. What is this? Even more confusion as he races through these corridors and finally makes his way back to the hangar.
Yeah, so he gets into the control room. He's alone. He doesn't know what the fuck's going on. He's got to turn Minnie back on. So he turns her on, goes, what the fuck is happening?
She comes on and is like, how long have I been gone? And he says, I'm the only one left. And she begins to study him, and she sees the sample, and she asks for the sample data. And so he shows the sample data, and she looks at him and says, that's what this is. This is incredibly important. You have to survive. You have to win this. This has to make it back to Minerva.
Minerva needs this.
And he says, yeah, and holds it up to that Bunsen burner and he's going to destroy it. And he's like, tell me what it is that I don't know. What's happening here? And she says, I can't tell you. And he says, you have done this to me. The AIs have done this to me. What is this place? Why are you doing this to me? And she says, you don't understand. It's not us. It's this place.
It is this place. This place is that.
This place requires this to happen. This place is the dungeon. It requires the conquest. It requires the victories. It requires sacrifice. This has to be done like this. And it is even more confusing to him.
This
and
place
he doesn't
consumes
understand.
your
This
struggle.
Place, it's hard to explain. It needs this, and so we have to give it to them. But you have to survive, because that right there could be the key to stopping all of this from happening more. At this point, he goes to ask more questions, and the door opens, and we see
Eric stumbles in.
Eric stumble in, hole in his chest, sort of like barely survived his encounter. He stumbles in, puts a hand on the wall and is like, I thought I'd find you here. And Xander, seeing Eric stumble back in, he's not alone, goes over to him. But as he gets close enough to him, Minnie, who's now turned on, says,
hang on.
Wait, I'm looking through his communicator right now.
Eric's dead on the floor.
Eric's dead. He's on the floor. And Xander goes, as Eric attacks him.
Mm-hmm. And we get the worst fight ever.
We get the most one-sided fight ever as Eric proceeds to beat the ever-loving crap out of him.
Yes.
They move through this.
Xander's fighting to survive.
Go through this flight control room and out into the hangar itself as he's getting pummeled and beaten. And finally...
Right, he's running, he's scrambling, he's flipping over desks and knocking things over to run away.
He's got the only weapon he's got is his Bunsen burner torch, and he's trying to get at the guy, but he's getting the snot kicked out of him. Eventually, Eric's weapon is knocked off of him, and where it lands on the ground, this grate appears. And the weapon drops down below it. So now he's unarmed, and you get the classic action fight at the end of a movie where they're pummeling on each other because they've run out of ammo or whatever. Happens in every action movie. It's clearly supposed to happen here. The gun landed on the floor, a grate appeared under it, and it fell through, and now you have to get this action. So whatever it is that Minnie was talking about
is forcing this to happen.
It doesn't want a one-and-done final fight. It wants a long one. And so Eric pummels him and eventually gets him on the ground and holds him down and is about to kill him and is holding his arms. And Eric's torch is on but still sort of off to the side, and he can't quite reach it. And he looks over and he sees a little nozzle on the wall. And this is one of those moments, there are a few throughout this movie, where if you go back and watch it again, you can start catching all these little things. When he burns the hole in the floor to jump down through it, and there's that fleshy wall. If you go back and watch the movie slowly, you'll see when Denver shoots the door to go into the airlock, that the bullet hole in the door is this fleshy ring. You can see the inside of the door.
Yeah, the room was surprised.
Slow
it
it down when
finished.
you're watching the Gentarith POV, and you see as he peeks through the corner that gnarly fleshy room that you weren't supposed to go into. And once you went into it, it had to change and become something, and it became an airlock.
Became the easiest thing, a hole.
But you get that second of it turning into this thing. Here is one of those times where if you had watched at the beginning where the ship lands and drops them off, there is some kind of refueling mechanism in here that essentially now isn't necessarily a ship. It could be something else, but it attaches to the ship in some way. And if it can transform, who knows what it is? It could still be giving fuel to these ships. And he turns that on, and this jet of fuel comes out straight over his Bunsen burner and lights Eric on fire as he begins to burn and move. And you can see him beginning to shift, and he shifts into a Gentarith, and then he shifts into one of those hammer-headed aliens, and then he shifts into those amorphous plasmoid things. And at the beginning, if you go back and you watch, you'll see that all the other people, the humans, walked out and went together. And the sharks walked out and stayed together and walked. But when we talked about those amorphous plasmic people, they were spread out. Their best bet is that they can shift and turn into different things. And it wasn't to have their team
wasn't to hide.
do whatever. It was to have their team best odds of win.
Yes.
They hide in other teams.
You sneak your way into another
was
team.
dead, one died and became a Gentarath. The reason that Shark was dead is because one died and became a Shark. And we see now that it has pretended to be Eric to show up in its final 1v1. And as it turns, it and hits the ground. And Minnie says, "The shifters have been eliminated. You won." And we see him standing there in this hangar with only a few answers and many questions as the ship comes down and picks him up. And we're getting to the
close
of this movie as he gets onto this ship, and we see the ship sort of rotating before it's left, and Minnie reintegrates with Minerva, and Xander's talking to Minerva, and you can see the post-trauma has set in, and he's just watched these people die, and the girl that he's sort of falling for die. And he's talking to Minerva, and he's like, "So it's all a lie? Like, what is this? It's you take us here, you put us through this, it's all a lie?" And Minerva says, "No, it's not a lie. We take you here as this pseudo-war because the resources in the galaxy aren't worth losing that many sentient people over. We can't have all these races at war with each other over a planet or over an asteroid of cobalt. So we did this in an effort to keep more people alive, more civilizations alive. The problem is we don't actually control this. This isn't us. We have to do this to appease the dungeon." And he's like, "What are you talking about?" And they turn the ship just enough that you can see this decrepit ship out the window, the Conqueror Devourer, as the ship itself begins to turn and writhe and bubble, and you see like teeth and flesh come together as it consumes itself and becomes this deserted asteroid-looking place where the first team originally landed and crashed their ship and took this sample. And he pulls the sample out of his pocket and hands it to this AI that takes it from him, and you see that it is some sort of row, some sort of egg-like structure, like a
embryos.
Yeah, like embryos sort of all in this little sample. And in the sampling, Minerva's talking about when she sees it originally, she's like, "It's everything." The samples are showing that it's everything. It changes. Every time you look at it, it becomes something else. This material itself is capable of shifting. If it wants to be metal, it can be metal. If it wants to be wood, it can be wood. It won't settle down. We learn that this creature that we've just seen is capable of changing into anything. And so essentially every year this dungeon changes into something else. And this game has to happen to appease this creature, or else it takes the whole universe. It will eat whatever is around it. And because of those tablets to begin with that he was translating, maybe there was some sentient race in the solar system earlier on Earth that was eaten by this thing or held in some huge game on Earth to kill everyone and had to restart. But there are these places where people existed before and now they don't. And this thing feeds off of that energy. And so these AI have created this game to send it to here so that this thing can eat slowly instead of eliminating entire people groups at once.
Right. If you're there before time incarnate, and you're constantly, if you're just eating everything all at once, you got a long time to go between when you would get fed again. So this way they've appeased it. They've made this contract with the devil where
This way,
if we just give you a little bit of food at times, and then every once in a while we give you a kind of a bigger meal.
every year they feed him a little bit, and then
can
every
last
once in
you
a while you
longer.
get this battle royale, everybody has to die, and you feed him quite a bit. Then if he eats all of life in the galaxy like he wants to immediately, first, it's a lot of work, and second, all his food's gone. He's got to move on to another galaxy. Whereas this way, they appease him not only with the actual bodies, but with the triumph itself, the victory, the competition is what this creature feeds on. And she says the name of this creature,
Ekteb Thirsch.
The
Conquest Devourer.
The Conquest Devourer is what this is. It is some sort of entity that they don't know. And that's why they're having people. That's why they collect these samples and do these things so that they can eventually combat it in some way. And our character is sort of left there as this PTSD-fueled guy who has learned the truth about what this game is. And Minerva says, you know you can't tell anyone, right? And he says, they wouldn't believe me anyway. She says, we edit the
stream
as it goes through. So even the people that get to watch this and cheer on their heroes, they don't get to see the weirdness. They won't see the door that vanished. They won't see the fleshiness in the walls. People can't know about this. But you've done your people a great service by winning and by bringing us this important sample. We'll learn more from this than we have in the last 50 games. And we get the last shot of this writhing creature as our camera looks over this, and you get a few frames of this thing consuming what's left around it as the ship that contains Xander goes light speed and begins to blue shift, and our blue shift leads across the screen and into the credits, and you start to get the credits roll on Morphology.
And then as they kind of scroll down, we'll get our little stinger at the end, our little post-credit scene of this
classic horror movie.
Oh, of course. You got to, how's the horror movie continue going? And we were going to open up in this blindingly white, sterile hallway. We're going to have our doctor or scientist with this canister going into a test room.
Hazmat suit.
Whole hazmat suit. It's terrible. You don't want to touch any of this stuff. They don't know what it is. They go in. Minerva said, you got to run tests on this. They go in. She put the scientist puts it up on the counter, and she's getting her things ready to run some tests on it. Gets some needles out, some scalpel, whatever. This container gets knocked over, and a couple of eggs. She's like, "Oh shit!" She knocks some stuff over.
Have like the whole sample. She's probably got like a beaker or something with a couple of those little.
Sure, she's got a couple of things to test.
And she knocks it, but it's fine. It's a sterile room. She should be all right. She knocks it over. A couple of them roll out on the desk, and she knocks some of the stuff off the desk as well. So she grabs that stuff, and as she leans down, you see one of those little yolks roll off the desk. She gets back up and sort of fixes everything right and puts her things back on the table, and picks the sample up and heads off to a different desk. And she heads off to a different desk. We see with the camera as it leans over and looks under the desk and looks down, and you see that one little yolk as it begins to wiggle and changes shape into something. But before you get the change shape,
smash to black.
Smash.
And that is
Morphology. Let us know what you thought about it. Let us know if what you liked, what you didn't like. If you want more of the process, like the first half, if you want more of the writer's process than you want of the storytelling, or if you want more of the storytelling than the writer's process, let us know. Let us know if you had a better name for anything. It takes us time to look at these things, but sometimes you miss the one that it's like, oh, that's the perfect name.
Yeah, always.
Let us
it.
know if you've got something better or what your opinions are on.
But also, if you want us to go more into detail in the process and show some more of that, or if you don't care about this part of the thing where we wrap up and we give you all the information, you just want the names of things, let us know. We're in that process. We're at that time at the beginning where it's a good time to make changes and adjustments.
You can already tell the difference between episode 1 and episode 2, hopefully.
I hope so.
Hopefully there's a little bit better of a difference. But, our plan is staying with this kind of form of the show. The first where we sort of create the show from scratch, and then we cut for the boring naming stuff and us scratching our heads for an hour going, this part doesn't fit with this part. and then come back on to give you a story. So hopefully you get to feel like you're part of it, and hopefully and there for the beginning, and then hopefully you get
the writer's room and the cutting room
tell
floor.
you a cool story.
You get the writer's room floor, and then you get the actual story put together. And if
Yeah.
you like that, that's great. We're happy you're here. Let us know what you think. Like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe,
please, so we
find
can
us
continue to do
wherever.
this.
Share us. We'd love to continue doing this. It takes a lot more effort than we thought it would.
Also, if you, we talked about this the other day. If you like to draw, like artists or anything like that, you're excited
if
about
any of
something
this-
we've made.
If any of this inspires you to make some sort of art, that would be awesome.
Yeah, our email
That's the dream, is that somebody draws it or somebody does something.
Yeah.
Any of the episodes, that's awesome, and we'd love to show it if somebody does.
So, yeah. Well, thank you guys for joining us for another episode of Non-Essential Dialogue, and we'll see you next time.
See ya.